John 6:2. Et sequebatur eum multitudo magna, quia videbant signa quae faciebat, super his qui infirmabantur. And a great crowd was following him, because they were seeing the signs or wonders which he was doing upon those who were ill or were enfeebled. So here we have a very nice, clear, short description with a lot of imperfect tense verbs of Jesus's healing ministry as it continues. Our subject is the multitudo magna, the great crowd. This, of course, is a feminine noun. And what is it doing? It's following him. It's watching the signs which he was doing upon those who were being healed, upon those who were enfeebled or made weak. That is, the ill and infirm. We still say in English, infirm. Invalid is another English word that we can derive from Latin antecedents in a similar sort of context. Now, a couple things we want to note. First of all, a verbum deponens here, a deponent verb. That is a verb that has passive forms but active meaning. Here, sequor, sequi. What was following him? The multitudo was following him. Passive form, but active meaning. We don't want to miss out on that. Now, of course, you can see the ba infix indicating the imperfect tense here. Hopefully that's familiar to you by now, but it always helps to be refreshed. We've got to remember that this is emphasizing that these events were ongoing or progressive in the past from the perspective of the narrator. They were doing these things. They were in the process of doing these things, in other words, when this next thing happened that we're going to hear about in subsequent verses. So this great crowd was following him. And here the reason is given, quia often, not always in the Vulgate, but often gives us the reason why something happens, because they were seeing, they were watching the signa, the signs, that is here the miracles, the signs of power, sometimes in Latin called virtutes, interestingly enough, the works of power that Jesus was doing, which he was doing, we should say, and the subject here understood is Jesus, which he was doing, super his qui infirmabantur, upon those who were being weakened or who were in a state of feebleness, that is, who were sick or otherwise ailing in some way. The thing I want to focus on here, though, is this phrase, super his. This is unusual for Latin idiom. And whenever we encounter something that seems kind of unidiomatic in the Latin of the Vulgate, the first stop along our inquiry should always be, at least when we're reading the New Testament, that is, well, what does the Greek text say? What does the Greek text that lies under this Latin translation say in this verse? And if we check that out here, we'll find the preposition epi, upon, and then the demonstrative in Greek corresponding to his. So it appears very much to me, at least here, that our translator is trying to closely imitate the Greek syntax, as very frequently. Super his, super as a preposition is not often used in this particular way, upon those, doing signs upon those who were ill. It does have a bit of an awkward sound to me, but I don't think that any Latin speaker would probably have much difficulty understanding what was meant in the context. And there are uses of super occasionally in poetry and in some odd places here and there in the prose of different eras that might look something like this. So it's not a totally unknown usage. It is a little bit, though, under strain, the Latin idiom here, under the influence and impression of the Greek original. And again, that just underlines something that we've seen so often in our studies of these chapters of the Vulgate, that the Greek text and its very syntax and word order is a major influence on the style of the Vulgate.